Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show quite a unique tarot deck that has been recently published. That is the Awakening Tarot by Monica Bodirsky. This has recently been published by Red Feather. And here is the box. And this is such a unique tarot deck. It's nothing like anything I've seen before, and that is why I particularly was interested in getting this deck. It comes in quite a hard cardboard box. I quite like the packaging. So the illustration on the cover is from the Chariot card, but that Chariot card has been renamed Balance, and a lot of the major arcana cards, quite a few have been renamed, but they're all listed in the book. So here is the box, and inside the box there is the sort of recessed opening inside the box here for the deck, because inside the box, there's a magnetic clasp on the side. Inside the box there is another tuck box for the deck, which I think is quite handy for people who want to take this while they're travelling too. So I quite like the way this has been done. So here is the tuck box with that holds the deck, and there is a great book that Monica Bodirsky has written for this deck. I'm actually quite a fan of Monica Bodirsky. I like the books, and I like the artwork. I also have the Shadowland Tarot that was done a while ago. So here is the book. It's quite thick. It's about 300 pages, so it's quite a substantial book. It's well written. It gives a great description of the cards, but there's all kinds of things in this book which I'll talk about. It's just such a well written book. It's just great. For example, on one of the pages in here, and everything's color coded, by the way. It's all color coded. And the book starts off with the minor cards because this is an elemental approach. So there is the emphasis on the minor arcana as the 4 elements for the suits. So the book actually, when it starts getting into the cards themselves, it actually starts with the minor arcana, and they're all color coded according to their elements. Just the usual elements of earth, air, fire and water. And there is a separate section that's also color coded for the major arcana, which is called the spirit suit. And I'm just having a look at some more of this spirit section just now. Just be a moment. Yeah, the major arcana is actually called the element of spirit. And at the beginning of the book, it's all part of the introduction. There's a great introduction by the author. There is a whole page that is listing out the different names for the cards, for the spirit suit, which is the major arcana. So where they have been renamed, they're all listed with the name of the suit for the deck, and alongside it the traditional name. Then you have on the opposite page, you have information about the cards, the way that the sections are all laid out. So you'll have the number of the card, you'll have the description of the image, and there's also a little quote for the cards as well in the book, which I really like. And excuse me, I'm just going to get something here so I can just read this a little bit better. You have keywords, you have the message for the card, you have advice for upright and reversed. You also have a shadow kind of advice as well, which is a little bit a separate type of advice to the reversed advice. And then you have reflection questions, which I really like. I love that idea. Reflection questions can either be for yourself to think about or for journaling. So I really like that. That's why there's a lot of information in the book, but it's just great the way it's been written. Really love the way it's been written. And you've got the colour pictures for each of the cards in here as well. And in the introduction, the author talks about the inspiration for the whole deck and why the images are portrayed the way they are. It's just a really great book. It's about 300 pages, and there's a different section right up the back as well. You've got spreads, special spreads for the deck in the back of the book. This is the section after the Major Arcana section. And the last section of the book is called Living a Magical and Awakened Life. So there's lots of ideas in that. And yeah, that's basically covering what's in the book. So great book, about 300 pages in there. And I was just going to have a look at what's on the cover. This is what would normally be the Justice card, and this one is to do with integrity. So this looks like the scales in a way here. So this is for the integrity card, which would normally be Justice. So now to show some of the cards. And I really like this deck. It's just so unique and different. I like the cardstock. Here is the back, a beautiful back of the cards. Really like this. Excuse me. So the cardstock itself, it's like a semi-matte. This is called the Sage, which would normally be the High Priestess. So it's a beautiful card. The borders are not very noticeable at all. They're rather inconspicuous, so that's good. It's pretty much a standard size deck. The cardstock is sturdy, but it's not too thick. It's a flexible cardstock, but semi-matte finish. So here is the Sage. So there's a title at the bottom and the little number beside it. Here is Abundance, which would normally be the Empress. So even with the Spirit suit or the Major Arcana, it's very much element inspired. So that's Abundance for the Empress card. The Green Being instead of the Emperor card. I really like this. This is very nature based, this deck. I just love it because it's just so different. So it's an unconventional deck. If you don't want something different, you're not going to want this deck. But I love something unique and different and nature-based. It's great. This is the Seer instead of the Hierophant. I'm very interested in working more with the elements at the moment, and that's another reason why I wanted this deck. It's a great card. That's the Seer. Here is the one on the box. This would normally be the Chariot, but it's called Balance, and you would need to read the reason in the book. It's such an original image. When I first saw images of this deck, I just was so curious. It's just so different. I thought, I've got to find out more about this deck. And I wasn't sure. I just thought, oh, would I be able to like this deck or relate to this deck or connect? But I could tell from the more images I saw, the more I liked it. And as soon as I got the deck, as soon as I looked at it, I thought, yes, this is what I want. So this is Balance instead of the Chariot title. Love this. This is called Destiny. It would normally be the Wheel. The image just completely fascinates me. I just love that. That's a great image called Destiny. I like that. I like that title. This is Integrity. This is the one that's on the book. So what would normally be the Justice card? Integrity. And great Death card, and this is called Release. It's just a perfect image for release. This is Transformation, what would normally be the Temperance card. And you can see all the elements in this card. And what a great card. This is called Epiphany instead of what would normally be the Tower. I think this is one of my favourite of the Spirit suit. I think this is particularly meaningful for me, this card. I have had a lot to do with what would be normally called the Tower card. Not only this year, but the last few years. And for me, it has been like an epiphany. And it's still ongoing. So this card, for me, is just so relevant. So Epiphany for card number 16. It is the Moon card, but it's called Changes. Excuse me, it's called Cycles. I'm thinking cycles and saying changes, but it is cycles. And cycles, of course, is a much better title. This is Cycles. Cycles for the Moon card. cycles for the moon card, and these images completely draw me in. Now, this is the awakening card, what would normally be judgment. This is the only card in the deck that has got the coloured background. So for me, I see this as a kind of significator card in a way. That's just for me. Right. So this is awakening. And I think that's a better title than judgment anyway. I really like the titles of this deck. I just think they just fit really well. So that's awakening. And the beautiful, what would be the world card or the universe? This is the cosmos for number 21. So I love this card too. So I'm showing you, as usual in my reviews, the cards that I particularly like. Now I'm going to show you some of the element suits, the element cards from the suits. So starting with fire, here is the, instead of calling it an ace, this is the one of fire. And some of the cards have a crescent moon in the corner. It's not always there, but sometimes it is. So that's really interesting. It's one of fire. Seven of fire. And you can see the little crescent moon is in the corner again with this card. Seven of fire. So I think of these element suits, I think of these as elementals. You know, I know they're not the traditional kind. Excuse me. I know these are not the traditional kind of elementals, but I think of them as elementals. And for the court cards, so sorry. This is called Visionary of Fire. Now the visionary cards would normally be the kings, and that's explained in the book too. I quite like the visionary card. So this is the Visionary of Fire, which would normally be like King of Fire. So this is Visionary of Fire. Now for water. So you have one of water. Seven of water. I really like this card. I think it's so beautiful. One of my favourite cards. Seven of water. And another visionary card. I like the visionary cards. This is Visionary of Water. So the visionary is part sea creature. You know, there's a shell, there's coral. It's like a squid arm here. And you've got the crescent moon again in the corner. Visionary of Water. Now for air. So that's Ace of Air. One of air. Sorry, I'm so used to saying ace. One of air. Six of air. Love the bird. Visionary of air. So with the court cards, you have initiate for the page, voyager for the knight, artist for the queen, and visionary for the king. This is visionary of air. Visionary of air. Now for the earth suit. I particularly like the earth suit in this deck. One of earth. One of my favourite cards. This is the 10 of earth. Really like this. Really beautiful image. I think it's perfect for the 10 of earth. And the initiate of earth, which is like a page. That's a beautiful initiate card. Really love that. So just finishing again, here is the back of the cards. I think I already showed that, but I wanted to show that again because I love the back of the cards. So there's some of the cards from the Awakening Tarot by Monica Bodirsky, published by Red Feather very recently. As you can probably tell, I really love this deck. I think it's great for people who are interested in working more with the elements. I mean, I think this would even be a good deck for ritual. It would be a good deck possibly for magic, but I think it's more for, I think this is more for journaling and for inner work and journaling, ritual too, if you want to work particularly with elementals. And of course it's still a good general divination deck, still, you know, that, which is what it's also designed for. But it's an unconventional deck. The artwork is great, I love the book, but it's for people who are quite happy to be working with something that's nature-based but unconventional, quite unconventional. Anyone who likes a more standard type of tarot, well, this will not be your thing. But if you really want something that's unique and different and nature-based, then this is really a worthwhile deck, and the book is very good. So I'm really glad I got this deck, and I'm just so interested in getting into the book a lot more, because there was just so much information and so many ideas in the book. It's really great. There's lots of ideas in the book for working with this deck. So all round, I just think it's really worthwhile, and it's a great deck. The Awakening Tarot by Monica Bodirsky. And I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.